That's from shaitan. Seek refuge in shaitan and move on. Okay, I'll stop there. It's still coming forward. Stop there, inshallah. Just summing up, the point is we have to be conscious of this evil force in our societies around us. Shaitan, Satan, is real. He operates in a variety of different ways. The believer is instructed to take him as our enemy. Serious. When you know somebody is your enemy, you take that person very seriously. You are watching out for them. Wherever you see them, you are wary. In the same way, we should treat Satan. We should be aware of his methodology. We should be aware of his strategies. And that is why Prophet Muhammad ﷺ told us what he told us. That is why Allah spoke about what he spoke about, gave us the story of Adam. All of this is to prepare us, to protect us in this battle of souls, the battle for the souls. So, inshallah, I ask Allah to give us a consciousness and awareness, the taqwa, which will protect us from the evil trials of shaitan in this life and the evil consequences in the next. Just put it up.
Thank you very much, Sheikh. Now we're going to open the floor for questions. There's a mic over there at the back. The brothers and sisters can use that. If you're uncomfortable, with speaking, you can pass your questions on a piece of paper to people in front. Eventually we'll reach here. Alternatively, for the brothers sitting in front, if you can shout your answer, that will work. Your question, that will work as well. Whilst waiting for you guys to come up with questions, just a few announcements that we'd like to make. Firstly, YNP would really like to thank two individuals who've contributed a lot to this event. Haji Hanif from the Perking Chawangan Bukit Damansara and Imam Burhanuddin from this masjid, from Masjid Umar Khattab. We'd like to thank them very much. And I can see some questions that are coming up.
Should give out the brochures to everybody here. You have something outside? First question. Reciting Surah Yasin when a Muslim passes away, is it bid'ah or is it permitted? If one believes that Yasin has special powers, it is supposed to be recited for the dead. Give me the most significant one. If a person believes that it is something that should be recited, it has specific impact, it's been given certain value, etc., then this is incorrect. There are no authentic narrations concerning the value of Surah Yasin. The hadith which says everything has a heart and the heart of the Quran is Yasin is fabricated. Yeah. Popular, but it's fabricated. But if one, for somebody who is dying, is reading Quran and chooses to read Yasin for them, just as they would read any other surah of the Quran, it's okay. See, this is again a case where reading Surah Yasin is a good thing. But now when you give it special value, who has the authority to give Yasin special value? Only Allah. Only Allah has that authority. And if He gave it special value, He would have informed through Rasulullah ﷺ so that we would be aware of its special value. So if we don't have that information, then we must know that it doesn't have the special value. Second question, Islamic banking, is it really based from Islamic teachings, Sunnah, Quran and Sunnah, or is it worse than riba? Riba through the back door. Islamic banking has been accused or has been maligned a lot in these times. When it first started, the ideas, people were much more open to it. But in time, it has become somewhat maligned. And actually, oftentimes we hear that from people who are themselves dealing with interest. They say there's no difference. What they're doing is the same. In fact, they charge more for the same things you get cheaper from the conventional banks, so what's the difference? In fact, it's worse because they're lying. But the truth of the matter is that Islamic banking is an attempt by Muslim scholars and professionals to develop an alternative to Western riba-based conventional banking. But they're doing so in a riba world. A world in which the whole of the banking industry is controlled by riba dealings. So it means that no matter what they do, there will be some influence, some touch of riba to their dealings. That's reality. We cannot claim otherwise. However, when we consider that we are trying to develop an alternative, is that not better than just going straight to the outright, open, up in your face interest bank? Of course it is. It is better. And we have to continue to work on it until it reaches the full state of purity in its dealings. But it will take time, because the central banks of the various Muslim countries are trapped. They're caught. They're connected. And these banks, Islamic banks, have to operate within their control. So let us not fool ourselves into thinking that it is possible to create a 100% pure Islamic bank. Not in these times. When the Muslim world, and if the Muslim world reaches a point where it comes back together as a ummah, following the Quran and the Sunnah, then we can provide the world with an alternative. Even the Pope stated at the time of the crashing banks that had Western banking been following Islamic banking principles, they would not have suffered as they did. So there is good there. There is good there. But we have to be honest and accept the fact that there is this element. And when we see Muslims trying to do what is better, trying to develop alternatives, what do? Do we break them down? We attack them, undermine them? Or do we support them and help them? If they're making some mistakes, we correct them. This is the correct approach. My mother went to a medium many years ago, and she practiced what he taught her. About 2.5 years ago, our then new maid kept hearing my mother calling her, though she didn't. Could you please explain this? She shouldn't have gone to the medium. We don't have mediums. We don't. Bismillah. Reversed. We don't have mediums in Islam. A medium who becomes a channel through which the spirit world communicates. No. That's whatever communicates is the jinn. In sujood, I had a vision, and sometime after that it actually happened. And this wasn't even in a dream. Could you please explain? You've got some serious problems here. Well, your vision is or was in a dream. The vision is a partial dream state. So it is conceivable that you had a true dream in a partial waking state. What if we see the day of judgment in our dreams, and it is a state of terror and fear? How do we know if it's a warning or a dream from Satan? Well, we know Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said the day of judgment is a day of terror and fear. So if you saw it as a day of terror and fear, then it was a wake-up call from Allah to you. Wake up. It's a day of terror and fear. Do what you can to avoid being in a state of terror on that day. I teach at a kindergarten. The children are being taught Salatul Fajr. In the last rak'ah, they have to pray dua qunut every day. If they don't pray dua qunut, they are shouted at. Is this bid'ah? What do I do? Well, dua qunut, praying it in every Fajr, we wouldn't call this bid'ah.